All right, so in this video, we're going to be looking at what to do with a prepaid student. What is a prepaid student? A prepaid student is a student who you've made an agreement with to basically they commit to a certain amount of hours. You invoice them for those hours in advance, so then you have to honor that afterwards, right? So for this example, I've created a Jane Doe here. And I'm on the dashboard sheet, and I've registered her as a prepaid student. I put in her information here. So what are you going to do? Well, once you've agreed upon, what Jane Doe would like to pay for, you're going to be going to the prepaid invoice generator, not the postpaid, right? And you're going to see this. It has already populated some data like the current date, the due date of the invoice, which is by default 30 days after the issuance of the invoice. But of course, you can change that in the tutor settings by going here. You can change the day to 14 days, whichever you prefer, or whatever you prefer. And so, I just defaulted at 30 there. You're going to have your information's already going to be logged in because it is sourcing that information from your tutor settings. Same with your payment information. So let's go to our student. I'm going to go up to the top here. There's a drop down list. I click on Jane Doe. You see that it automatically populates her billing information. And then you're going to go to the description here. So this is a drop down from your lesson type. So whatever lessons you've already registered are going to be put here. So let's say that she agreed to do, let's say 10 hours of cooking with you. You can add other lessons, right? Lesson types if you want. Generally, I just have one lesson type per student, but you have the option, so you can even put like piano lessons in here if she wants to pay for both of these in the same invoice, right? So you'll see here, you put the hours and then it automatically, puts in that hourly rate and the total amount. And so that is going to appear here in the subtotal and total. You're also going to see this area here with the reimbursable expenses. So this is really dedicated to any added expenses that those are applicable to you. So things like your transportation costs, if you have to buy materials for the student, that's where this information is going to go. However, because the cells are yellow, that means that there is a formula that sort of automatically calculates that. So don't write anything in here. What you're going to do, if you do have expenses, you go to the expenses tab and you're going to put in here, let's say we'll put two expenses. We'll put here the dates. Let's do the 28th here. I'll do the 29th. Over here, and it's important that you put Jane Doe and Jane Doe. You may be asking, well, why can't I just put this directly into the invoice? Well, putting it into the expenses is gonna help you keep a log of all your expenses in one place. And keep in mind that these expenses are also linked to a tax prep report. So by doing this, you are logging all your expenses for a year. And so the system can calculate all your business expenses. That's going to help you later with deductibles and things like that. It's also just a good place to centralize everything. So that's why this sheet exists and why I have opted to not use to put manual inputs on the invoice generator there. But okay, I digress. So let's go back to this. Let's say there are two expenses here. This will be materials. It'll be cooking knife. I don't know. And that was $24. And also I am paying, I'm going to make Jane Doe pay for some transportation costs. So I'll put this as transport, and that will be, let's say $15. Here you choose if you want to make this deductible from your own taxes because they're business expenses. I typically say yes. Of course, it depends on your own situation. And then it's really important here that you go to this payment status drop down and you're going to click ready to bill. If you don't click ready to bill, if you put nothing there, or if you click not billable, invoice, or paid, the invoice generator is not going to register it. So I made this a feature just so it protects you from double charging, right? If you do multiple invoices with the same person, this is a way to help you make sure that you're not charging twice for the same thing. So if I click ready to bill on both of these, you're good to go. Just to keep in mind, the other settings, like not billable, I typically use for my own expenses. So like things like if I had to buy a printer, I'm not going to bill that to a student. So I use the not billable. The other settings that we had there, invoice just means that you've invoiced it, but maybe they haven't paid for that yet. Because you haven't received the payment, and paid just means that is fully accounted for. They've paid for it. You're all good to go there. So yeah, I've said that these are ready to bill. So if we go to our prepaid, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Prepaid invoice generator. You'll see that it automatically puts those costs in. So now the subtotal in total is $639. So looks like your invoice is ready to go. You're ready to fire it off. So what I typically do is I'll go to print. I will make a PDF copy. So I will save it as a PDF. I'll even copy the invoice number for my own reference here, and I'll save it just like this, right? And I'll keep a copy for myself, and I'll also send a copy to Jane Doe. Then you basically wait for the payment to come through. And once the payment's done, once Jane Doe has sent that payment, let's say she did it today, I'm going to put in that invoice number there so we know, okay, she paid for, this is just for my own reference for bookkeeping. This was the name of the invoice, unique to her. The invoice is always, reference number is always going to be unique because it's going to be the first 3 letters of the client's name, and then a number sequence, which is the date and the time. So it won't be replicated. Each of these is going to be unique. Maybe she paid with a debit card, and I forgot what was the amount that she paid. $639. So I'll put that $639. Of course, don't use the invoice generator as your reference for how much they paid. Actually look at the amount that they have deposited to you to just verify that. Of course, because this is a demo, nobody's actually giving me $639, so I'm just using the invoice generator as my own personal reference, right? So generally speaking, please just look at the amount that was actually sent to you by the client. So they are fully paid. And to confirm that, you can even go to the dashboard and you see, oh, Jane Doe here. She's prepaid, and you see here, all paid up. It says that the amount she has paid here, so she's all good to go. You can even go to the student ledger and you can choose Jane Doe. And here again, it says she's all paid up for that amount. So that's her balance. That's her credit, or her credit rather, for her lesson. So then let's imagine she's paid and you're good to go with these lessons. So every time you do a lesson with Jane Doe, you're gonna, right after the lesson, you're gonna put in the date that you had that lesson. Let's say just a few days before. That was a 1-hour lesson. and that was the cooking lesson there. So it says her credit has been paid, everything is good, right? So, we'll have several lessons like that. But you'll notice, let's do just a few more here. Oh, look at that. What happened there, right? Everything was good. It said that she was topped up, but we exceeded the 10 lesson limit. So this brings us to, it tells you basically when she's completed her lesson sets there, right? So even in the student ledger, it's going to show you all the lessons that she's done. It's also going to show you the payment history. So it keeps track of everything. It makes sure that you've done your 10, and then it will then remind you that you maybe need to top up the lesson for Jane Doe. In fact, here it says, look, Jane Doe in the summary is running low on credit. So that may be an indicator that you need to prepare a new invoice or reach out to Jane Doe to see if she wants to continue with the lesson. So this summary thing is a great resource, especially with the prepaid students, because it tells you your action items. It tells you exactly what you need to do with each student. So that is quite valuable. So yeah, that's basically how you log lessons with a prepaid student. Again, maybe there are a little bit of growing pains when you first set up, but really in the long run, this is going to save you loads of time. I hope that this has been helpful, and thank you for watching.